We're excited to have you join us on Global Morning today on this beautiful day. Of course, it is Tuesday, and this is December. Everything winding down towards the end of the year. And we are glad to be part of the season. My name is Ramsey Enoch Agbo, and so good to have Priscilla Obasi join us today. And of course, as it is, I think we have a lot going on in the country right now. And Priscilla joining me this morning shows that, well, whatever a man can do, a woman can do better. It's good to have you join us.
I'm wondering the angle you're coming from. Please, whatever a man can do, a man should do. And whatever a woman can do, a woman should do. You know, well, that whole statement comes from the whole feminism movement, right? And I feel like a lot of people have misinterpreted the feminism movement. Right now, there's this toxicity, you know, that is being pushed as feminism, and I really do not think that is the ideal. That was the idea of feminism. Feminism is not whatever a man can do, a woman can do it better, please. It's whatever a man can do, he should do, and whatever a woman can do, let her do it.
Everybody should be on their
Everybody
lane.
should be given a fair chance to do what they can do.
There should be an assistance. If the woman is doing something, the man, well, I'm going back home now.
Yeah.
So good to have you on Global Morning today.
All
right. So many things unfolding around the country today. We have it that peace is returning to Benin Republic after the coup. But then I think the intervention, we have it that two communication channels were established by Benin Republic across to Nigeria for a rescue mission. And as a father of Africa, I don't know if we are still the giants of Africa, but then let me say, as fathers of Africa, Nigeria was able to release the troop to actually quell that situation. And as a matter of fact, that coup didn't succeed the way it was planned. But I was wondering who plot a coup, and of course, you don't know whether the coup has succeeded or not. You are going to a national television to announce it. And is that how coup is done in their own place?
Well, it's the 21st century, and right now we're in the digital age where information needs to be spread fast. So a lot of things has changed. The way coup was done in those days is not the same way.
It's not the same way. Because those days, if you hear announcement, it means there's been a total takeover.
Yeah.
Maybe the person in power already has been captured, or maybe taken out of existence or something before you can hear announcements in the national television. But you just wake up and walk. Well, I don't know how it's been done. Priscilla said it's, of course, a 21st century kind of coup.
Approaches have changed. So they are taking the horse before the cats right now.
Yes, I think that's good. But then the recognition, one thing stood out for me, the recognition of Nigeria as, well, this is Big Brother. Big Brother can help us. I think that stood out for me because a lot of people have said in the past that Nigeria is no longer the giant of Africa. Looking at what's happening in the country and the situation, the security situation, and of course the hunger and everything, and how Nigerians are running out of Nigeria to other smaller countries. You look at our currency, the devaluation of our currency, up to the extent that some of these smaller countries, their money have more value, their currency had more value than our almighty Naira. And a lot of people were like, well, maybe that belief that Nigeria is the giant of Africa is no longer there. But I'm so excited that Benin Republic could call to Nigeria and say, hey, Big Brother, we are in trouble. Please, can you come help us?
Okay, it's also a lesson for us. If we are able to give out help, we should also be able to receive help. I like the way Nigeria is.
See the angle she's coming from.
Yes, if you feel like you can give out help to people that need help, then you should also know that you should be able to receive help when someone wants to give help to you. I mean,
is someone trying to give Nigeria help?
Of course, yes, has been reaching out to us.
I see where she's coming from this morning.
Yes, they have been reaching out to us to help us. So as far as the Tinubu government is concerned, they should learn a lesson from this. How about if the Benin Republic government said, please, you don't need your help, as they came? Maybe we are seeing something playing out in Burkina Faso, in recent times. We don't know how the Nigerian government is going to take it. But whichever the case, there's a success on Benin Republic, right? And that is something we should, the positive side we should look at. Whatever negative outcome comes out from another country is also a lesson. It's to say that it's a global village, right? We all need each other. For the world to move from point A to point B, synergy is important. You need to help, you need to reach out, you need to receive, because it's one thing to give, it's another thing to know how to receive. A lot of people know how to give, but they don't know how to receive. So that's the lesson that I want to take out from all of this situation.
I think this can actually stand in for the inspirational for today. A lot of people receive and they don't give out. Well, we should be open on both sides. If you're receiving, you should also be able to give. That's a balance. Then there can be an equilibrium. I'm talking about the Burkina Faso issue. There is a pocket of information. As a matter of fact, it's an unconfirmed information that the Air Force aircraft and a number of officers have been arrested in Burkina Faso for unauthorized entry. Well, that happens anyway. It depends on the kind of aeroplane. Is it a fighter jet or is it just an Air Force jet that is going there? What are they going there for? Under what circumstance were they arrested? Do they have the capacity? What I know is that even the passenger airline, before you pass through any country, there is a permission that's been taken. Before you pass through any country, there's permission that has been taken. I could remember my pastor was to travel I think at one point, and whether there is this, they've taken permission, the pilots, the authorities, but it's like the mistaking a particular country for another, and that wasn't taken, and that had to be done. They had to stop halfway or something to get that done. So there are permissions taken because the airspace is well guided by every country. I don't know of Nigeria, but the airspace, if you want to talk about advanced countries, the airspace is well protected because whatever happens in the airspace, to an extent, you don't have full control over. So if anyone is flying over your country, you should know, is it for peace? Is it an enemy or foe? Like the army, I could remember when we were in the Nigerian Army Cadet Force. You know, you see.
Really, you've been there before?
Oh, I've been there.
And
then they will ask you, enemy or friend? If you suspect, if there's a suspicious movement, you shout enemy or friend. If the person doesn't know what to do, it means that person is an enemy. If you don't tell us you're a friend, if you don't say you're a friend, before you know, you don't even know where you'll be taken down from. So this is done almost all the time for the airspace, and that is why we have satellites, we have people who work with the airspace management agency and all of that. But then whatever it is, I think very soon we'll let Nigerians know if it is true or whatever reason for which the aircraft or officers were actually arrested, and we just, if it is true, we wish them a quick release. As a matter of fact,
said, I hope they are giving them food.
No, they should. They should even have enough. Because these are airmen here.
Well, it just goes far to say how the soldiers risk their lives. I can imagine if these soldiers are, people with families, say they have wives, they have children, and then you just hear that my husband went out to, for duty, for service. At the end of the day, he was arrested. On what grounds? I mean, this is selflessness. It's part of the job, yes, but we should learn to treat our soldiers better. I don't think a Nigerian soldier came out and was saying how much they are being paid for service. I don't know if you saw that video. He analyzed.
I've not seen it.
He analyzed how much they are paid, and after every promotion, how much they get to receive, and it was so sad to see the figures. Like, I think he said something like after 5 years of promotion, like it's just a 5,000 naira increment or so. It was sad to see that. I don't know how true that figure is, but if that video, if whatever he was saying is actually the truth, then we need to do better. We need to do better, because the way these people risk their lives, I'm telling you, it's not easy. Recently, our president has come out to give the permission or the order to recruit more security personnel, and I don't know how people are turning up with that, because when that thing is coming at a time where insecurity is at its peak, I don't know if a Ramsey will want to respond to that kind of offer. I don't know how he will see or how juicy that offer will sound to you, knowing fully well that you are going to fight. Do you understand? It's sad. And if we now look at the salary and it's not commensurate to the service you're giving at the end of the day, then I don't think it's worth it. So our country, our government needs to look into the pay of both civil servants and even the soldiers that are police officers. Yes,
police officers.
Our
That's
security, arms. They need to look seriously into the salaries that they receive. That way, I think they will do better than they are doing right now.
Yeah, they will do better than they are doing, and it's in a way going to curb corruption. A lot of people have said in the past that one of the reasons why it's allegedly said that the Nigerian police is corrupt, taking money from commuters and all of that, is because they are not well paid. Some of them, you see their uniform looking very old and tattered. You see some of their shoes and all of that. Then someone was asking a question, how do you expect somebody in that kind of condition, all right, to behave in a sane manner? And talking about the military officers, why even whether that news, that story is true or not, we should even be celebrating, because some countries, some advanced countries, if it is an unauthorized entry and they discover that probably the jet, if it is a fighter jet or whatever, if it is that kind of jet that needs to be blown from the air, they do that without permission. But I think it's so good that it's an arrest. And of course, the issue of taking care of security operatives is very important, because that will curb to an extent compromise and the leakage of intelligent information, which is part of the compromise that we're talking about right now. You know what it means for someone to leak intelligent information to the enemy just because they are being paid heavily. And these unscrupulous elements, these betrayers, pay very heavily, all right, to make sure these deviants, all right, compromise with very intelligent information. And of course, it's part of what has brought us to where we are today. All right, at this point, we'll go on a quick break. After this break, we'll bring you the inspirationals. Stay with us.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Monday through Sunday to a wide range of latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest.
And the president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
Every wealthy man you see today, they started thinking about it, because as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. What are you thinking about? How are you seeing yourself right now? What is on your mind? What have you conceived in your heart so far? But I want you to know that everyone on earth is clamoring for success. I've never seen a man who is ever satisfied with what they have. That's why you see people acquiring wealth. You know, they have wealth, but they keep acquiring wealth. You know, no one is ever satisfied to say, well, what I have is enough. I've not seen, maybe, probably you may have seen. Let me tell you that wealth begins in the mind. This is Wealth and Success Tips. My name is Ramsey Enoch Agbo, and of course, I'd like you to know that wealth isn't just money. Some people, when you talk about wealth, the first thing that comes to their mind is money, but it is the mentality, all right? Not just the money, it is the mentality. What can you convert to money? Your mentality. Some people have already settled it in their mind that they can never be rich. They will never be wealthy. Some people have already conditioned their mind that they will never amount to anything. Now, show me a man who thinks abundance, and I will also show you a man who attracts it. What did I say? I want to take that again. Show me a man who thinks abundance, and I will show you a man, all right, who attracts abundance. If you think abundance, you attract abundance. And that's the reason I tell people everywhere I go, whatever you do, you need to think positive. Show me a person trapped by fear, and I will show you someone that wealth avoids. Do you know that wealth can avoid people? There are a lot of people pursuing money today that money is busy running away from them because in their mind, they just want to be like that man. They want to be like that woman. They want to have a luxurious life. But what are the necessary things that you need to do? You see, poverty doesn't begin in the pocket. It's not in your pocket. Oh. Poverty does not begin in the pocket. It begins in the mind. The real difference between the wealthy and the struggling isn't opportunity. Some will tell you, I don't have the opportunity. Well, some people have the opportunity. They were born with golden spoon. Stop complaining. That is not what the problem is. It is the outlook, your mentality, your thinking. The wealthy see solution where others see struggles. There was in one episode where I was talking about the fact that opportunity come dressed like you have avoided that opportunity and it passes you by. Avoided that opportunity and it passes you by. Don't you ever say, I can't afford it. All right? Some will tell you, how can I afford it? Some people turn obstacle into openings and ideas into income. So train your mind to think upward. That's the real thing that you mind to think upward. That's the real thing that you need to do. Speak positively in your thinking. How would you ever be in the company of vultures? Those who shrink your vision, avoid them. Some people will even tell you why. Oh, you too, you are thinking of being a wealthy person, a successful person. They will even laugh at you, but then you need to laugh at you, but then you need to avoid people like that. And that takes me to mentorship. How would you ever go after someone? How would you ever go after someone to mentor you? And that person is going a different direction. The person's vision is not aligning with your vision. And you are calling that person your mentor. That person will end up being your tormentor, not your mentor. So what do you have to do? You need to follow people who are going the same direction with you. Money follows mindset. In case you don't know, let me tell you. For as many that want to have money, money follow mindset. What's your mindset? What are you thinking about money? Some people will tell you money is the root of all evil. No. Don't misquote the holy book. The love of money is the root of all evil, not money itself. The love of money is the root of all evils, of evil. not money itself. So if your mind is rich in purpose, your life will be rich in results. So number one thing that you need to think, your mentality needs to tell you, is that your mind needs to be rich in purpose. Are you purposeful? Do you have a dream? Do you have a vision? Do you have something you want to become in the next 5, 10 years? Have you started working towards it from now? Then be rest assured that your life will be rich in result because you have a rich purpose. Every rich purpose and vision give birth to a rich result in time to come. You were not created to merely survive. A lot of people have survivor mentality. I am contented with where I am, or at least I can afford 2 square meals. Who told you that? The people who are affording 3 square meals and even eating delicious balanced diet in between meals, they are not more than you. But don't create the mentality of merely surviving. The survivor mentality is not meant for you because you are designed to multiply. You are designed to dominate. You are designed to subdue. Don't wait for wealth to find you. Find wealth. Locate it. Become the kind of person that wealth is drawn to. Because true riches, as a matter of fact, don't start in your hands. They start in your head. It doesn't start in your hand, but in your head. Do you get what I said? The true riches doesn't start in your hand. It starts in the head. There are people that when they were giving birth to, they already made up their mind right from when they were growing. If you doubt what I'm saying, ask the creative people, the innovators, people who innovate things for others to use. Some people are just sitting down. They are not thinking of what they will innovate for others, what their creativity will give birth to for others to use. They are sitting down, busy waiting for other people's creativity and innovation to make use of it. No, your riches starts from your head first before it enters your hand. So your mentality matters so much. How would you on earth be on the journey of destiny and you don't know where you are heading? You are just following everybody. Let me speak to people who are jack of all trade and they think they can be master of all. No. I was speaking to someone earlier today and we're talking about the fact that you can major in a particular thing, all right? Specialize in one thing, but have idea of other things. Have area of specialty. Take, for instance, you're applying for a remote job, for instance, for those of you who have applied for remote jobs or maybe something to put money on your table, maybe on the internet or with a company or maybe an entrepreneur. The first thing they will ask you is your experience. What can you do? What can you offer? So as it is right now, you need to be creative mentally before you can be creative physically. I end by saying what you need to do is to know that true riches don't start from your hand, but it starts from your head. If your head is empty, your hand will be bound to be empty also. It's not all about what is in your hand, but what is in your head. Thank you very much. I want to wish you all the best. You are a success in motion. Don't stop until you succeed. Bye-bye for now.
All right, thank you very much for still being here with us. I hope you have been motivated for the day. Let's go straight to the newspaper review, starting with the first paper I have here, which is the Daily Trust. Okay, so on the Daily Trust, first story below the nameplate, and it's on genocide. U.S. lawmakers visit Benue. Troops kill bandits, rescue victims in Sokoto. 17 agencies scored 0 inefficiency rating, and that's coming from a report. To the big story, 7 women protesters killed in Adamawa. That's a sad one there. May their souls rest in peace. EFCC seals Silver's residence, and that detail is on page 46. Court denies Nnamdi Kanu's request for prison transfer. Our audio in the bush, rescued Niger student. Okay, those are your headlines for the Daily Trust. We'll go to the next paper, which is the Nigerian Tribune, and Ramsey takes us through that.
All right, let's quickly get to the Nigerian Tribune and see the headlines that we have there. On the Nigerian Tribune this morning, beginning from the big story, insecurity. Miners tackle northern governors, reject call for ban on mining. All right, meaning, well, I don't want to say, but I think there might be something that we really don't know right there. But now, some stories are above the nameplate. This one says $2.4 billion. Eurobound oil receipts. Remittances drive Nigeria's $7.5 billion reserve surge. This is a research carried out. And of course, one rider to that story. Other African markets record improvement. A court bars Amken appointed lawyer from representing GHL over disobedience of court order. Turaki-led PDP governors orders hold marathon meetings amid convention plans by Wike's camp. It is not over until it's over. I don't know, it's becoming more like a drama right now, if you ask me.
It's very shameful, actually.
I don't know. These are same people that would want to rule the country in 2027. They ruled earlier for 16 years. We're talking about 16 years here.
And the funny thing is, Nigerians will still vote for them.
That's the kind of country that we have.
Will still vote for them.
Yes, despite
everything
that is happening, they still have loyalists. Some people are still loyal to them. Yeah, they have loyalists. All right, more headlines from the Nigerian Tribune. Reps squeeze neck over 109 moribund licenses, accuses discourse of unethical practices. Tinubu in separate meetings with Fubara, 7 APC governors. All right, maybe, I don't know. I don't want to say.
There's definitely something is about to happen.
Something is about to happen. I won't be surprised. ICPC Works Ministry begins nationwide audit of 760 road projects. Then gunmen murdered pastor's wife, raise house, vehicles in Anambra Church, kill 4 in another community. I don't know why all of this should be happening now that we even have the U.S. delegate in the country. I'm expecting that there should be some form of calm to an extent, but I'm surprised. According to what we read in the paper this morning, they've been to Benue State, right? And from there they'll go to other states too, to find out if there is actually killings or not. And of course, one rider to that story, kill 4 in another community. U.S. Congressman Moore says security talks with Nigeria productive. All right, NSA hands over 100 rescued pupils to Niger governor. Okay. If you want to know how productive the U.S. congressman is, the meeting, the security talks, if you want to know how progressive, how productive it is, you can pick a copy of the Nigerian Tribune to go through it yourself. Then finally, from the health angle, Dengue vaccine gains first major approval. Details read on page 4. And of course, finally, from here this morning, let me just take the final one from the right-hand side of the Nigerian Tribune, which says, Turaki-led PDP governors orders hold marathon meetings. We talked about that. We've taken that already. Over to you, Priscilla, for the next paper.
Okay, so the next paper here is the Guardian newspaper, starting with the very first story. Arua hinges Tinubu's 2027 fate on economy security scorecard. Of course, I totally agree. PDP faces growing 2027 uncertainty as factional disputes escalate. You find that detail on page 6. Reps issues NNPCL boss December 15 appearance deadline. That detail is on page 3. Should we say this is a case of Konima die, Konima bury him? For Beneku, how Nigeria's intervention secured key trade route, regional supply chain. Okay, there's a picture story there. Those are your headlines for the Guardian newspaper. Take it to the Vanguard now.
All right, let's quickly get to the Vanguard newspaper and see the headlines that we have on the Vanguard newspaper this morning. On the Vanguard, I think we have an advert right there. All right, it's a note of appreciation on successful ceremony or something. It's on almost all the papers. All right, this one says above the nameplate, federal government bans cash payment for its services. Any service, any dealing with the federal government, there is no room for cash payment. Again, federal government to courts. Speed up hearings of terrorism, kidnap cases. Speed up terrorism, kidnap cases. 100 students released by terrorists handed over to Niger government. Then the big story says Tinubu sees Benin Republic airspace legally. Senate source is the one saying that. Well, the invasion of the Benin airspace is legal. Some riders to that story, actually. The first rider says, top army officers taken hostage in coup attempt released. Benin foiled coup shows Tinubu's role in West Africa's stability. That's coming from presidency. And some persons were asking question, meaning we can actually do something in our country if we can do that in another country. ADC to federal government. If you can act in Benin overnight, why not protect Nigerians? If you can act in Benin overnight, why not protect Nigerians? Senator Barau hails Tinubu, says democratic remains best option. All right, democracy remains the best option. All right. Okay, those are the headlines from the Vanguard newspaper this morning as we flip over to the next paper.
Okay, so the next paper here is the Punch newspaper. And we'll start with the story besides the nameplate. Benin fall coup. U.S. reviews travel warning. Hostages regain freedom. That detail is on page 3. POS takeover. Federal government ends cash payment in MDAs. I was saying to Uyi yesterday that POS guys in this country have gone through a lot. There's always something.
I tell you.
There's always something about POS. And I don't understand why. Why can we not do the review once and for all? Why do we have to do it every 3 months? You tell
Every
us.
3 months, it's either they are chasing them out of the market. I don't know.
It's just sad.
But a lot of people are surviving through POS operation.
Exactly.
But just that, it should be made legal
Yes.
because of fraudulent activities.
The thing is, we have been giving policies or reviewing policies. We have not been able to come out to say this policy has worked for this. Due to this policy, we have been able to reduce. So we are not seeing the success rate. We are not seeing the results of the policies in time past. I think it will make sense to let us know what the policies that have been implemented against or for the POS guys, what it has done, the results it has been able to bring before bringing more. And Nigeria is always at that point where we always want to look at things from the past. We are not futuristic. We want to make a plan. We're making plans based on what has happened in the last 10 years. We're not making plans based on what will happen in the next 20 years. So we finished the last 10 years. We're now at the point where we're looking at tomorrow and we're like, this thing we did last time was not working. We need to start again.
All over again. That's repetition.
Yes.
Resources is involved.
Exactly. Resources is involved. So we need to make policies that reflects on futuristic goals, not goals from the past. And I think that's where we get it wrong so much in this country. Okay, still on the Punch newspaper, the big story: federal government defers 70% of 2025 capital projects to 2026. Government, that's a rider there, government stops new projects, imposes spending limits, 22.37 trillion naira budgeted for 2026 capital expenditure. We just see these big figures on the in the books. I hope they really translate to live impact. I hope they really translate to growth indeed, especially reflecting on the common man out there. Those are your headlines for the Punch newspaper. Let's now dive to the business day.
All right, let's quickly look at the business day and see what we have on the business day newspaper this morning. As a matter of fact, this one says informing impactful decisions since July. All right, that's more like a tagline. A tax act spells out 10 million naira penalty, 10-year jail term for offenders. All right. That's for the Tax Act. Insecurity triggers doctor shortage across northern Nigeria. Insecurity triggers shortage of doctors across northern Nigeria. Is it just northern Nigeria alone? I think in almost all the parts of the country. Doctors are jackpying every day.
Well, I think they're just saying that in places where the insecurity is much, I don't think any doctor wants to go there and risk their lives.
In fact, I think a lot of NGOs have wanted giving people jobs there, and people decline because of the security situation. A lot of people. Well, I think peace is a little bit returning. Let's just hope so that with everything going on now, the security situation will become a thing of the past anytime soon. All right. Nigeria, the big story now. Nigeria centralizes revenue flows in boldest overhaul since TSA. All right, one rider to that story begins mandatory e-receipt in 2026. Consolidates TSA, GFMIS, CBNM, NIBSS into single monetary platform. I think that's a welcome development right there. All right, those are the headlines from the Business Day newspaper this morning.
Okay, so we'll take it now to the Daily Independent, and starting with the first story above the nameplate. SEC unveils sweeping reform to reposition Nigeria's capital market. There's a rider to that story. Fast tracks move to T+1 settlement. ADC asked federal government to tackle insecurity with the urgency it foiled Beneku. Well, I totally agree too. Despite reserves surge past $45 billion, Naira battles year-end pressure. Okay. PDP organs, close ranks, lines up behind Turaki's new NWC. Party says Wike's caretaker committee laughable. Well, the whole drama is actually laughable. Silver's Aid condemns stealing of former minister's Abuja's residence. That detail is on page 7. We've released $185 million, 14 billion naira Frontier Exploration Fund to NNPC. That's coming from NUPRC. Announces eligibility details for 50 oil blocks. That detail is on page 6. Court refuses Kanu's application for transfer from Sokoto prison. On page 6 is where you see that detail. Tinubu asks security agencies, governors, to prevent future kidnappings. Directs operatives to ensure release of 115 remaining students. I can just imagine what is going through the minds of the parents of these children and even the children themselves. CBN grants final license to 82 BDCs. That detail is on page 7, and those are your headlines for the Daily Independent. Finally, we go to the Nation newspaper.
Incidentally, this will be our last point of call this morning because of our time schedule. Ogochukwu Mobuno is already standing by for social buzz. But then, before she comes, let's quickly flip through the Nations, right? The Nations, which is going to be the last, right?
Okay.
All right, the Nations newspaper. Students to access federal government's 50 million naira innovation grant. More Nigerian fighter jets, troops in Benin Republic. Nigeria-US moving in right direction, says Rep. Really Moore. Tinubu, that's the kicker. Bring back all abductees. All right, I think Leah Sharibu should be inclusive. I think she just needs to be reunited with her family. Yeah. All right, those are the headlines from the Nation's newspaper this morning. Coming up next is Social Buzz by Ogochukwu Mobuno. She's doing...
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and international.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Monday through Sunday to a wide range of latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest.
And the president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
Very good evening and welcome to another exciting edition of Big Talk. Tonight on the program,
As always, it's a pleasure to have you. Join us here on Global Morning. I am Uyi Alpo.
You know how we do it.
on the desk this evening, we have very topical issues to discuss, and of course,
Welcome to your parliamentary program, The Parliament.
People enjoy full home boundaries to claim their rightful place as
Numerous committee, about more than 12 committees.
Face to Face is a program that comes to you once in a week at about this time where we look into issues and discuss them. It gives you the opportunity to
rural news in United
Welcome
Nigeria. I have
to
a guest.
Entertainment Circle. And trust me, today you're about to get entertained.
Hello everyone and welcome to the program Talk Sports here on Global Television.
Turn Up Zone is that platform where we bring young and talented artists.
Stay tuned, stay inspired, stay with Global Television on DSTV channel 365, on Star Times channel 276.
Good morning, the Global Morning crew, and good morning to you, our viewers. I am Ogochukwu. It's another beautiful day to look at what's buzzing on social media. I must tell you, there's been a whole lot that's buzzing on social media. But for the sake of our time, we'll be taking just one. And I must say that there's something happening in the military space in Africa, because we do not understand what exactly is going on every day, from Burkina Faso now to the failed attempted coup in Benin Republic. So a coup attempt was thwarted earlier, in the early morning hours of, some days back in Benin Republic, after a group of about 10 soldiers stormed the national television station. The group, calling itself the Military Committee for Refundation, CMR, appeared on state TV and announced the removal of President Patrice Talon from office. The discussion, the dissolution of government institution and the suspension of the constitution, Lieutenant Colonel Pascal Tigre was declared head of the new military authority shortly after it was reported that the coup attempt led by Lieutenant Pascal Tigre has been thwarted. The presidential office told the AFP news agency that Talon was safe and that the army was regaining control. This is a small group of people who only control the television, his office said. The regular army is regaining control. The city and the country are completely secure. Talon has been in power since 2016 and was due to step down next April after the presidential election. Well, we're going to be looking at some comments as regards this particular issue that's ongoing now in Benin Republic. And the first comment we're taking is from official Teddy. Teddy Wealth says, "Do not pray for this in Nigeria. It's not a fairy tale." Yes, do not pray, because you could see in the comment section, a lot of persons are saying, oh, this is a country that works. What is our own military doing, please? I don't think I want to experience that now. We just need a free and fair election, a good leadership. That's all we need in Nigeria. The next comment is coming from Hype Manguru. Hype Manguru says, "Democracy is not working in Africa. In a country governed by military rule, no bandits or terrorists can exist there. We had peace in Nigeria when Abacha was head of state. True or false?" I leave that to my opponent to answer. All right, the third comment is coming from Praise Oasis. And Praise says, "They didn't do their homework well. They just gave themselves up to be hanged." All right, that's all the comments we can take today for this particular subject matter. And I'm not alone in the studio, as I always have someone in the studio. And this morning, it is Priscilla Obasi. Good morning, Priscilla.
Good morning, Ogochukwu.
How are you doing?
I'm fantastic.
You look really good. I think this particular season, the Hamatan brings out your color very well. All right, Priscilla, we're talking about military. we've seen what is happening in Burkina Faso right now recently about the air space, and they said, oh, why did you enter without letting us know? But we're not talking about that this morning. So we are going back on the issue that has been on ground, although they said, oh, it has been resolved and all of that. The President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has, chipped in 1 or 2 and said, okay, let's resolve this whole thing. It is not good for us to start to a military takeover. But I need us to look into the military takeover in African countries. It is a bit disturbing for me. I don't know about people out there, but for me, I feel a bit unsafe. I understand that it's a revolution. Everyone is beginning to take their country to their hands since the democracy didn't work anymore. So we think we should go back to military rule because people feel it is even sane. It is sane in military rule. What do you think, Priscilla?
Well, everybody has an opinion, and I think they have a point, right? Someone mentioned in the comment saying that when the military was ruling, we didn't have any form of insecurity. So if all of these grievances are coming from the place of insecurity, people losing their loved ones, people dying every day, people being kidnapped, people paying for ransom, it is real. And if you find yourself in that situation, God forbid, if you know that, or if you have a close person, or you've ever contributed to ransom, if you have ever contributed to ransom, you will know how serious it is. A lot of people, Nigerians, we don't react until it gets to us. We always want to
experience it first.
But when it gets to us, we now know the reality of the whole thing. So it is real. Insecurity has caused a lot of pain to people in this country. And if those types of people are coming out to say, I think it's better we have a military regime, I think they have a point, right?
So are you kind of advocating for it?
No, I am not. I'm getting somewhere. I'm not trying. I'm only saying we shouldn't dismiss their concerns. We shouldn't dismiss their opinion. We shouldn't dismiss the feelings that they have. Now, you said something. You said democracy, a good government, a free and fair election is what we want. When are we going to get there is the question. Is it realistic? How realistic is it? When is the appointed time? Because we have waited, we keep saying we will vote. The elections that happened in 2027 came with a lot of people, gingering, a lot of people making up their minds, a lot of people, just dropping the apathy in nature and starting to, do the right thing, starting to get their PVCs. We saw that happen. It was more like a revolution, but how did it end is the question. So, it's a lesson for Nigeria. It's a lesson for us all. If we have working leaders, this is the time they need to sit and reflect. This is the time, indeed, that they need to. It's a time to be a president. It's a time not to be passive. Because things are going to happen. As long as it's already happening in our backyard, it's definitely come to us. Yeah. So they need to reflect on these things and make sure that they do better. They need to do better. Power intoxicates, like they say. But what legacy do you want to leave at the end of the day? I don't know if our leaders ever reflect on this thing called legacy. For them, it's about the money, about the power, but it all ends in this world. And it's that time where they need to reflect. Now, they have gone to help the people in Benin Republic. I hope they are also willing to receive help. I keep saying it. As much as it is good to help, you should also know how to receive. Because the U.S. has reached out. I remember when they reached out at first, it looked as if they were going to threaten. They were looking at the way the responses were coming from our leaders, as if they were coming to take our natural resources. If the people in Benin says the same thing, how will it make us feel? So, as much as we're willing to help, we should also be willing to receive help. That's what I would say about the situation.
Thank you so much, Priscilla, for your contribution there. I really enjoyed all of it. As much as we're willing to help, we should also be willing to receive that help. It is no news that Nigeria needs help at this point. Yes, our security, they are doing well. Those institutions are really doing well. The military, they are all putting their heads together to make sure that the peace in Nigeria is being restored. But, in places where we lack strength, we should be able to, open up our hands to make sure we receive that, help. And that's the only way we can uphold our name as giants of Africa. All right, that's all we have for you today. Thank you so much once again, Priscilla Obasi, for your contribution. And I'm going to be closing up today because that's all we have today for you. And I need you to stay safe. I'll always say that. Stay safe even as you prepare for the holiday season. Try to stay safe. A lot is happening out there. You don't want to be part of people contributing for ransom. All right, I am Ogot Kumobno, and you'd like to stay with us as Global Morning continues.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily. while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Monday through Sunday to a wide range of latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
What's your problem? We're on the road to protest.
And the president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
Is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and international.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Monday through Sunday to a wide range of latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
What's your problem? What's your problem? We're on the road to protest.
The president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
It's so good to still have you right there. On Global Morning today, the first discussion is going to touch something very vital. We're looking at democracy in Nigeria. I don't want us to go to Africa right now because it's going to be deeper with what is happening in West Africa right now. Some people will tell you what's happening. Some persons have asked me the question before. What's particular or what the way democracy is practiced in Africa Is that what is practiced in other parts of the world? Why is it that our leaders don't leave office anymore? Political parties want to be in office forever? You know, so many questions. But then, today, we want to look at democracy in Nigeria, especially the activities of the political parties. Now, I have my guest who is joining me on the conversation today in the person of Dr. Oke Ezeogu. He is a legal practitioner, and of course, it's good to have you, public affairs analyst and a legal practitioner. And this is not the first time I'm having him on my program. So, fasten your seatbelt. It's good to have you join us on the program this morning.
Thanks for having me. Good morning.
You know, anytime I'm talking about Nigeria democracy and you're with me on the program, there's a way. I know it's going to be a long thing because you're someone who have actually taken time to study democratic setting of Nigeria, Africa, as a matter of fact. But today, we're narrowing it down to Nigeria, as a matter of fact, and the political party, which is the vehicle that transports people into these various political offices. Now, our democracy in Nigeria, is this exactly what you feel Nigerians clamored for? Let's get started from there before we go deeper.
Well, Nigerian democracy has become a theater of the absurd because it defies definition. I'm not sure those that came up with that word had any ingredient of what we have today in mind, you know, when they postulated that democracy thing, which is government of the people, for the people, by the people. I don't think there's anything to show that the people is having any say in what democracy is all about in Nigeria. It has ended up a situation of keep talking, keep dramatizing, keep pretending all is well, and then keep behaving as if we are getting it right. But in real terms, we are not. That's the way it is.
All right. Now, let's look at the activity of the political parties right now, the way it's going. Every political party, take the People's Democratic Party, for instance, came into office and they were there for 16 years. Now, APC was there, all right, and handed over to another APC government. 2027 is around the corner. PDP is warming up to take over. ADC is also on their own part warming up, and every other political party is warming up. What do you think of political parties in Nigeria? Because PDP has been there, APC has been there, and right now they are there. Then ADC is a coming together of people that have been in both PDP and the APC. So what do you think about Nigerian political parties?
Well, the situation is that murky because it's difficult to talk of any of the political parties being political parties in real terms now because of the quantum of squabbles and crises we are seeing already. Okay, let's take the parties one after the other. Take even the government party. We can even start with the government party. As far as I'm concerned, government party is still a marriage of strange bedfellows. Irrespective of the fact that governors are jumping onto themselves to join the party, everybody wants to be carried on as if there is no other party and all that. But what most of them forget is that political parties are built by people. They are built by people. Some people spend money, time, and energy to midwife a political party, and it grows to the level where it becomes an enviable group, where it can now start canvassing for elections and where it can start winning elections. For inexplicable reasons, the present government party, the APC, appears not comfortable with any party squaring it up with it. I think whether anybody likes it or not, that party is inclined to having themselves only as an existing political party.
Why do you say so?
Yeah, because they appear more interested in what is happening in other political parties than what is happening in their own political parties, happening in other political parties. In every, which of the political parties are you not seeing the hands of government in there, government party there? It has become a project that must be executed. A project to lure and break the other political party and bring them on board. Cause confusion in their midst and bring them on board. Who the other governor, bring him on board. It's like a project for the government party. And that is what has removed that ingredient of the excitement that goes with politicking in a democracy. Because when you now have competition, you have people, one person is canvassing for this, and another person is, one person is canvassing for something, another person is saying another thing, telling the public what they want to hear, the other person is countering them in a peaceful atmosphere, devoured of all these deceptions and exploitations. That is where it becomes very, very sweet and exciting in a democracy. But we've lost all of that. People no longer have a say. People no longer have a say. Like I said, we can talk about the government party. What of the other political parties? Because of the low level of, I don't know how to explain it, where a politician thinks that he cannot stay in his political party and work and suffer to grow that political party. And that is what has made it very easy for the government party to poach them at will. It has become a fertile ground for them to poach them at will. When the political party has no ideology, they don't stand on anything, there's nothing you can say. You cannot work in Nigeria up now and say, what can you say Labour Party stands for? Nobody will tell you. What can you say the government party, the APC, stands for? Nobody can tell you. PDP, nobody can tell you. NPP. So it's a jumbled whole. And because of that, an average politician is ready to move to the next political party without blinking. And he thinks he owes nobody an explanation, including his constituents. He owes them no explanation. From nowhere, you could attend the meeting with him today, and by tomorrow, he's already with other political party talking about something else. So they don't owe anybody explanation. And then you now ask me, why is it that they don't think that they need explanation? They should explain to the people that are supposedly leading. One is because of the impunity in the system. Candidates are imposed at will. Of course, voting has become a marketplace. I remember the last election they had in Anambra State, where a governor in an election campaign offered the public a certain amount of money if they can. Of course, he offered it to his political jobbers and workers and whatever you can call them. That if they can deliver their this thing, they have this. If they can deliver this, they have that. If they can deliver their boot, I mean, what other way? It was not like that. I mean, over the years, and I've not seen it in any other system, in another democracy, where somebody will be telling people how much you get by voting for my political party. That's the low level we've gotten to. That's the low level we've gotten to. PDP, for instance, is neither here nor there. The two factions of PDP, one is a government party. The one faction is a government party. The other one is just limping as if it's existing. But the other arm belonging to the, sorry to say, I mean, with due respect to the FCT minister, his own arm of the faction of the party belongs to the government party. Because I don't see them fielding candidates in the next election. Even if they field candidates, of course, they wouldn't field for the presidency, which, of course, he himself has said it several times that he's not going to, that he's supporting the president. Okay? If you talk of Labour Party has been so infiltrated. And because of how jobless many of the politicians are, you know, the little that come their way, they are ready to manage with it and then go to social network and make all the noise and keep afloat and all that. But if it's in a system that works, where we have democracy in real terms, somebody like Julius Abure and his executives should go and hide their heads in shame. And ask me why. This is an executive of a political party that inherited about 7 or 8 senators, closed about 30-something House of Reps members, and then innumerable number of House of Assembly members in some states, even had a governor, and then there were near misses in terms of winning election in 2023 and all that. Today, under your watch as the chairman of the political party, and you lost all of them, and then you're still masquerading yourself as the chairman of the political party. I mean, is it not ridiculous? So I find it very difficult that somebody like Barrister Abure, a legal practitioner, is only contented in answering the name of the chairman, I mean, that nomenclature of the chairman of the political party. What has he done to sustain that party? What has he put into that party that will make it enviable enough for reasonable persons to get into that party? Or for anybody to think of crossing over to that party? He has lost it. He lost it and he has lost it.
All right, let me take you back to the People's Democratic Party that you were talking about a few minutes ago. You said something, and you said there are 2 factions in the People's Democratic Party. One faction is a government faction, then the other faction is limping with one leg, trying to survive. Now, yesterday on the National Daily, there is this headline that talked about a faction of the People's Democratic Party, the Wike faction, of course. According to what they said, according to the paper, it said PDP crisis, Wike bloc plans state congresses and national convention.
Well, the political field is an open field. You know, of course, the FCT minister has the war chest to organize congresses and at what level and at whatever level. And then what does it take to do that anyway? The resources. Of course, he makes available money. And there are gullible Nigerians and poverty-stricken Nigerian hungry youths who are available to take this money and then file in for him. But is that the way it should be? You can't eat your cake and have it. And surprisingly, those who should ask questions are not asking questions. Congress for what? I expect somebody to ask a question. Now, the Congress is supposed to be upped in such a form that at the end of the day, they should be producing candidates for election. At least executive members before the national convention that will lead an election. Now, what is the end point of this convention? Where is it leading them to? Is it that at the end of the day, by the time they finish the convention, after electing the executives at whatever level, they will now be talking of a national convention where a presidential candidate will emerge? Does it look likely? I don't think so. At least to the level of the faction we are talking about. I don't see them having a presidential candidate. But again, in politics, anything is possible. What if tomorrow there is a discontent tune between the FCT minister and the government party or the president, and then the FCT minister decides to have his way and decide to go his separate way, for instance? Of course, you can be sure that that must be a plan B too. Just in case anything goes wrong, he has a place to fall back. But towards 2027 election, and the way it is at the moment, I think that faction, whatever they're doing at whatever level, they're working for the government party.
But as it is now, let's get to the legal aspect of it. You are a legal practitioner. This same People's Democratic Party, they have a lot of back and forth from the court. You know, before the National Convention heard, there were a lot of back and forth. This one is in court, get court injunction, hold, don't hold, and all of that. With what is happening now, do you think, because even the other faction are having an emergency meeting right now as regards this plan of the Wiki blog. Do you see the possibility? Is it possible in any way for the court to stop the FCT minister from going ahead with this, because this is more like causing division? Number one, he's been expelled from the party already. But it's like this expulsion is not working. So is it that they need to go to court to enforce this expulsion, or the party itself does not have the capacity to expel a member? Because if you've been expelled, what other thing do you have to do? You are not a member of the party anymore. Can we have two different factions?
Well, what I can tell you is that every Nigerian has a legal right to seek for protection in the courts. It doesn't matter your status. Well, if you have a local standing to do that, that will be determined by the court. But to the extent that you feel aggrieved or that you're not comfortable with a particular situation and you think you needed to, extinguish whatever, your fate will be decided by the court. So what I'm saying in essence is, if the other faction feels disturbed, that anything unusual is happening in the political party and that the other faction has no right to do whatever, they have a right to go to court. Let the court decide their fate. The only problem we have at the moment is that it's difficult to even say who is the member of that party or who is the chairman of the party. One is funded adequately. One is managing to just survive. As far as I know, it's difficult for any of the parties now to hold on adequately and claim to be representing the political party, the People's Democratic Party. But because of the government party and the unseen alliance we're having, unseen one because everybody thinks that's what is playing out, but nobody's too sure. Because of that unseen hands of government and government party in one of the factions, I suspect and I feel that at the end of the day, these unseen hands are likely going to boost the other faction to a level that they become overwhelming, even if not legally, but in public spaces, they become overwhelming. That's what might play out. The legality of whichever faction is still difficult to determine. Well, fortunately for Nigeria and for the political parties, the chairman of the INEC at the moment is a senior advocate of Nigeria. Well-grounded, highly disciplined, highly principled. That's the much I read about him. I'm not saying all this from personal knowledge, but that's what I read. And cleverly, they have tried to distance themselves from that crisis, only keeping to the dictates of the courts, what the court has said. When courts say, don't go, they stay away. They have not played the politics of do your worst or go to court and do your worst or something. I've not seen that flashes yet from the present INEC, unlike what we saw in the past. you know, where the INEC chooses what he wants to do. And of course, in tune with government aspirations and positions, most times.
All right, let's get to the issue of poaching, because you said something while you were speaking. You talked about the fact that there is a poaching by the now ruling party, that they don't want, if there's anything this political party is fighting, they don't want an opposition, they don't want any party to stand, so they are poaching. So now, where is the problem? Is it the people who are leaving or the party itself? Because a man with a sane mind who have an ideology, all right, have a vision and said, well, this is the vehicle that will take me to my promised land, that needs to, first of all, you need to put the vehicle in order. All right, because you can't travel, of course, without maintaining your car, getting fuel and all of that. The same person abandon the vehicle, okay, and move out of the vehicle, maybe to a different thing altogether. In this situation now, is it the problem? Is it the party that have problem, or the people who are leaving the political party that have problem?
Both ways. You see, for you to survive in Nigeria as a politician and stand up to talk to government, you know, and say, hey, you must do this, this is right, this is wrong, this is right, this is wrong, this is the way it should be done, and all that. You must have built a character of transparency, a character of incorruptibility from the beginning. Otherwise, at every point, you, especially if you're a politically exposed person, otherwise, as soon as you come up with any idea of, hey, you want to confront government, you want to confront establishment of institutions, somebody will just open your book and say, do you remember this? And that has been the weapon they have used to silence so many people. You know, why do you think that someone like Peter B is still there, opening his mouth and talking anything he wants to say, he will say it? If he has soiled his hands at any level, by now Peter B will be behind bars. Because in so many cases he has said things that nobody should ordinarily say. Only few people can confront government the way he has done. But there's nothing to find on him. Are you getting me? How many other politicians in this country can say, can have that kind of clean slate, whereby you can tell somebody to go and verify, check anything you want to check, and then do whatever you want to do? So because of, also my suspicion is that because of the baggages most of these politicians are having, it's always very easy for somebody to say, hey, come, you better come over this way, or we'll open book for you. Otherwise, a second-term governor, for instance, somebody who is already serving his second term as a governor of a state, what business have you in joining a government party? What business have you? When you finish your tenure and you can't make it politically after that, you go home.
After 2 terms?
Oh, yeah, after 2 terms, you go home. No, but they wouldn't go home, because they will not be allowed to go home and rest because of the baggages some of them are having. So to remove those baggages, remember the former chairman of APC once said that the moment you cross over to APC, your sins are forgiven. We heard that. You know, the internet doesn't lie. It's always there. So what I'm trying to say is that our politically exposed persons, those who have held government offices and political offices and the rest of them, many of them, one way or the other, have so soiled their hands that they cannot come out and dare the government or dare anybody to prove me right or prove me wrong, or scrutinize me, probe me, and all that. How many of them can do that? No. Only very few. I'm not sure. I'm not saying all, but I know that even if there are, there must be very, very few in number. So that is why it is easy to cajole anybody into joining the other party. That is why it is easy to force somebody or to make somebody, push somebody into causing problems in his political party so that there will be a lot of problems. Like, look at all the political parties. They're all having factions. So.
Yeah.
Even APC is still having a faction.
Does APC have factions?
No, you won't know. Just wait.
I could remember there was one time they said there was a settlement also, people that were aggrieved also.
Well, let me tell you, before this jumping of sheep from one party to the other, especially from PDP to APC, don't forget there were original members of the party, APC, who were actually working, holding out the broom all these years, you know, making sure that they were relevant and all that. At that point, they had their leaders. They all had their leaders. Whereby if you come to a place like in a state, somebody will tell you that the leader of this party is this person, known, you know. And while they were building this party and developing them, you discover that some persons were being groomed to contest for maybe Senate seats, House of Reps, House of Assembly. Some people were being promised, at the end of the day, you become a chairman of local government and all that. Now, all of a sudden, the governor of the state, who is from another political party, jumps ship and joins that party and automatically becomes the leader of that party. You know, there's a lot of deception. There's a lot of decoy. There's a lot of pretense among politicians. The idea is to make Mr. President, for instance, feel that all is well, and they all smile. This is now your leader and all that. Oh, no problem, sir. No problem, sir. But we are waiting for the doomsday, because by the time the congresses start and gladiators will start emerging, those who are interested in some of these political parties start emerging. If there is no implosion and the APC is able to manage these various interests and they go to election in one piece, then they would have ended up the best organized political party in Nigeria. But I doubt very much that there will be an implosion.
In 2027?
Yes.
Oh, all right. Well, keeping our fingers crossed, of course, because you can't take that away. And that's why it is called an election. Anything can happen, whether there is defection. There was a time that other PDP members told the PDP governors defecting that whether they all defect, they will still give APC a run for their money. They were still waiting for that time. You mentioned Peter Obi while you were speaking. A lot of people cannot predict where Peter Obi is right now. Some are linking him to ADC. Some other persons are linking him to Labour Party. But as it is, as at yesterday, all right, ADC told him categorically that he should make up his mind now. What do you think about that? Because what actually brought Labour Party to limelight was Peter Obi joining it in 2023, even at the tail end. And you see the kind of popularity they got and what they did in the 2023 election, even though he didn't emerge. Now 2027 is coming. A lot of people have been saying so many things. A lot of people have tried to preempt him, but he has not really spoken. So some people are saying, well, he may leave Labour Party, but ADC is telling him now to make up his mind. If you are Peter Obi, what will you do?
Well, to the best of my knowledge, Peter Obi is still a member of Labour Party. ADC is a conglomeration of alliances. I mean, different interests from different political parties. Some have resigned from their parties and joined in real terms. Some are still, dramatizing around and thinking of whether to come out, leave their existing one and go into the other one. I am actually not comfortable with the way and manner the alliance is going. That's the ADC now. Because, and of course, what Peter is talking about, I read something that he said about yesterday or 2 days ago, where Peter was saying that the ADC should decide their zoning formula. And as far as I know, I guess he's conversing for a Southern presidential candidate to complete the tenure of the 4 years for the South before he goes north. P2B has a large following, and that is where the problem is. If you watch, ADC appears to have gone to sleep somehow because of the perceived absence of P2B in the fold. You're getting my point. P2B is like, if we are talking of somebody who has good following, a large followership, and then somebody that have some people who are actually looking at him like an idol. Just the same way Buhari came into government, because when Buhari was there, I mean, so many people really believed in him and all that. Young persons, those who think there should be transparency in government, everybody believed in him. So, ADC must have to work very hard to bring P2B back into that fold in practical terms. And if they succeed in doing that, you will see the quantum of energy and excitement that ADC formation and whatever they are doing will elicit. So I am thinking that Peter being indecisive is not good enough. I must say so. Peter should be able to say where he is. If he's going to a smaller political party, let him go to that smaller political party and build the party towards an election. That's what I feel. If he's not going to go his separate way to build a political party, if he's joining the alliance, he should join the alliance, and whatever it turns out to be, he should allow his followers to do the proper thing. I mean, if they believe in him, they believe in him. I mean, and if he's going back to Labour Party, which I suspect so much, his position must have been compromised. If he gets back to the Labour Party, I suspect they might take him to the middle of the road and abandon him there. In any case, Labour Party has lost the goodwill they had. They don't have any goodwill anymore. No more. They have lost everybody that sympathized with them. They have lost all their the National Assembly members. They have lost all their state assembly members. What is remaining is just a figment of, well, the governor of Abia State, who is still there. I don't know whether he will end up with them at the end of the day. But that's the only person that masquerades as a symbol of Labour Party.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Doctor, because if we want to talk about democracy in Nigeria, it's not something we can finish in a day. As a matter of fact, looking at the antecedents of the various political planning.
Thank you very much.
All right, everyone, this is the size of the first conversation, but the truth is Nigeria's democracy is complex. Are we really having what we clamored and asked and begged and prayed for? Is that exactly what we are having right now, or it is in twist? Well, 2027 is around the corner, and it's going to be another time again for Nigerians to make the ultimate choice. Coming up next is going to be the second conversation. Stay with us.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily, while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and international.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your
Wide range of latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
What is your problem? What's your problem? We're on the road to protest.
And the president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
A very good evening and welcome to another exciting edition of Big Talk. Tonight on the program.
As always, it's a pleasure to have you. Join us here on Global Morning. I am Uyi.
You know how we do it on Social Post Extra, bringing you all the...
On the desk this evening, we have very topical issues to discuss. And of course...
Welcome to your parliamentary program, The Parliament.
A joyful home doesn't happen by chance. It is built on...
Women can rise beyond traditional boundaries to claim their rightful place as
a numerous committee, about more than 12 committees.
Face-to-Face is a program that comes to you once in a week at about this time where we look into issues and discuss them. It gives you the opportunity to...
World news in United
Welcome
Nigeria.
to entertainment circle. And trust me, today you're about to get entertained.
Hello everyone and welcome to the program Talk Sports here on Global Television.
Talk Zone is that platform where we bring young and talented artists.
Stay tuned, stay inspired, stay with Global Television on DSTV channel 365, on Star Times channel 276.
Very good evening and welcome to another exciting edition of Big Talk. Tonight on the program,
As always, it's a pleasure to have you. Join us here on Global Morning. I am Uyi Agbo.
You know how we do it on Teacher Post Extra, bringing you all the...
On the desk this evening, we have very topical issues to discuss, and of course,
Welcome to your parliamentary program, The Parliament.
Peaceful and joyful home doesn't happen by chance. It is built on...
Women can rise beyond traditional boundaries to claim their rightful place as
Very numerous committee, about more than 12 committees.
Face-to-Face is a program that comes to you once in a week at about this time where we look into issues and discuss them. It gives you the opportunity to...
World leaders in United
Welcome
Nigeria. I have
to
a guest.
Entertainment Circle. And trust me, today you're about to get entertained.
Hello everyone and welcome to the program Talk Sports here on Global Television.
Talk Zone is that platform where we bring young and talented artists.
Stay tuned, stay inspired, stay with Global Television on DSTV channel 365, on Star Times channel 276.
Thank you very much for still being here with us. Now we turn our attention to our brothers in West Africa, and we're talking about Benin Republic, where a reported coup attempt has raised serious concern across the region. The big question is this becoming a trend? Is it simple but critical? Is this coup attempt a direct threat to democracy, or is it a wake-up call for the entire West Africa region to rethink its current security architecture? Because at this point, West Africa has experienced more coup attempts, let's say, in the last 5 years than in the previous 2 decades, right? Yes, combined. So we're talking about the coup attempt in Mali, and even recently in Burkina Faso, we talk about the coup incident in Guinea, in Niger, and now a near mission in Benin. To help us dissect this very conversation, we're joined by an analyst, Professor Ibrahim Adua Abubakar. You're welcome to the conversation, sir.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so let's dive straight in to the question. First off, what would you even say about the recent coup happening in our neighboring countries, talking about from Benin to even Burkina Faso?
Well, there is not much to say because the grip of power and the quest of power for Africans mostly and in the West Africa sub-region has become something that has gripped as a fear. If you look at today, they are just swearing in the Ivory Coast or Cote d'Ivoire's president for the 4th time. So when you watch it, you find out that the older generation are not ready to relinquish power to the younger generation. Now, when there is no generational change, there is always a conflict and chaos. I think that is what we are experiencing. So I don't call it insecurity at all.
Really? Okay, what does this failed coup attempt, the recent one in Benin, probably tell us about the health of democracy in West Africa, particularly?
As far as I'm concerned, there is no democracy in Africa.
Wow.
We shouldn't borrow words to paint ourselves all right, because we has dimensional and diversional system of governance in the whole of Africa, right from time. So what we are taking now is just a borrowed system which has been established in the West. We are not Westerners, we are Africans, and we have our own system. Until the day we identify who we are actually not getting it right.
By our own system, what do you mean?
There is a system that has been with us right from time immemorial till today.
Which is?
Whether any way they are going to paint it, we should give it another name, not democracy.
Okay. Okay. So in any way, are you saying that a lot of people have, said that during the time of the military era in Nigeria, we experienced less, security concerns. And right now we have the democratic era. We're seeing all the whole mishap in our security forces and all of that. Are we saying in any way that the military era is better or has given us a better result than the democratic era?
The people saying this don't actually know what leadership is. If you know leadership, you should be able to know what you are saying. During the military era, what is the population of Nigeria? Again, what is the level of awareness?
Okay.
What is the level of enlightenment? What is the level of deprivation? So when you come to these days, is it the same thing? No. Almost everybody is already aware. The level of awareness is high. The level of education is high. The population is much. I think during the military era, Nigeria was still running on a population of 100 and something million people. So now we have about 200 and something million people. So you can't compare now. And again, the access to developmental templates were not the same. As at the military era, I know that how many graduates were we having?
Okay.
And now, even in the NYC, I think we have batch this, series that to the end. In my own time, I think you serve only once. You wait for the next year to serve. But these days, it is almost every other month. So you can't compare that time to this time. And that is where the problem lies, because we are supposed to be having openings for the younger ones to take over from some of us. I'm not supposed to be working at this time. So that is it.
So are we saying that we have not put, we don't have a good structure to accommodate the increase in our population?
We have never built a structure because we have no direction. You must have a direction before you start building a structure.
Okay, let's talk about, still on the coup incident. Now, a lot of people are saying that the Nigerian army were swift in responding to the Benin Republic coup. But somehow they have, kind of lingered, or the whole insecurity in the country has lingered as a result of the lack of swift response, or we've not received the same swift response that the Benin Republic government received in this incident of coup. Is there anything as such?
There is a difference between internal security and compromise, and also there is also a difference between external security and compromise.
Okay.
You are going in there to, which is external security operations. The operations taking place here is internal security operations.
Okay.
I am not too sure if they give you an aircraft to go and bomb your village, you will go. You won't.
Okay.
So you are going to take some things into consideration. What will the projectile do to your people? But there you are facing it headlong. And again, they were the whole troop. The whole troop were running on one direction, so it is an easy target.
Okay.
So when you are fighting insurgency, they are not running on one direction. You don't even know where they are. But again, we are here, as I normally say, the insurgency, the insecurity we have here is something we can contain within 6 months and 1 year.
Okay.
The way and manner we go through it, or our operational tactics, strategies, and the rest is what we don't have. So if you look at what is happening here, it is not because we don't have the manpower or the ability to do it, but we are doing it the wrong way.
Okay. So are you saying sentiment, the fact that there is no sentiment attached to the Benin Republic help kind of makes it easy to help them than our own people bringing such help into our own country?
The whole thing is you are on surveillance, you are on area view, so you know the target. So it is immediate to actually drop your projectiles. Yeah, the surveillance mechanisms is not there. So, and then it is diversional, so you don't have an identified target to drop your projectile. That is the difference.
What can we say is the whole effect of the Benin Republic coup would, what effect would they have in the ECOWAS community?
It has no effect. Nigerians play the role of big brothers always. Whereas we are losing out. We have done that to South Africa. We have done that to Sierra Leone. We have done that to Liberia. We have done that to so many countries. And we have lost over 100 to 200 billion US dollars as big brothers. Whereas our people are languishing in poverty. So we are having almost similar problems that we are fighting other countries to input. That is just the whole issue.
Okay, so the fact that we say, or a lot of times it's proven that Nigeria is porous, being that our borders are open. Is there any threats we are expecting, or is there any concerns we should have in that regard? Considering the fact that we are going to help a particular nation, of course, the help would not sit well on every person sitting in that country, right? Is there any concerns we should have, considering our borders, our porous borders, and everything?
The porous borders will still remain porous because we have not think about borders management.
Okay.
Border management, it is its own play and place. Whether we like it today, whether we discuss it, we don't discuss it, as far as we have not done anything about our border, we will still have what the intrusional body is coming in every day. And the question is, why Nigeria? A lot of people have not tell us why Nigeria. Why is Nigeria a target? Nigeria is a target because we are the richest nation in the whole world.
Okay.
The problem of Nigeria is the problem of Nigeria is we have not been able to convert our riches to wealth. If not, me and you, we are not supposed to suffer from any deprivation. And our leaders don't even know where these riches lies and how to convert these riches to wealth. That is just the problem we have. So in the communion of nations, you find that Nigeria is one of the nations to actually itemize as a country of not particular concern, of identifiable concern.
Identifiable concern, okay. That's interesting. Okay, based on everything we see playing out, it's important that we strategize so that whatever it is we are going to help doesn't, fall back on our own country. What reforms would you say that our government needs to put in place to avoid issues like this?
We are like a trade guide who resolve people's issue, forgetting that he has an issue. So till we identify and seal down, particularly look into our own issues, we will still play the fool that we are playing.
How can we do that? What are even the issues? Because sometimes it's better to name your problems. So
we have a lot of issues. We have a bucket full of issues, and we are not ready to identify to those issues. So you are hungry, and you are wearing a wristwatch of 1 million naira. That is just the way we are. to impress somebody who is not even impressed because he knows that you have your challenges.
Yeah.
So that is just the whole issue we have in the country.
If you were to sit with the president now, what is that, top 3 things you would tell him to do?
Of course, I'm not going to sit with president, so I will not even start cracking my brain on if I sit with president.
You never can tell.
I won't sit with president. I am not going to sit with president, so I'm not even thinking of what I'm going to say when I sit with president. So I maintain my lane.
Oh, okay, on your own lane.
Yes,
okay, let's talk about influences. Do you think in any way that there are international influences, there are international pressures that, that all of this is, all of what we see right now is responding to?
Well, if I say no, I'm wrong and I'm not being true to myself. So our problems are actually 85 to 90% foreign.
Okay.
It is only 10 to 15% Nigeria.
Why do you say so?
I have my reasons to say so, and I know I can prove it anywhere.
Well, what is that? What is that influence? What is that thing? Maybe we'll just list a few.
Our educational institutions, for one, are we really giving what we call qualitative education to our people? The answer is no, because from 1972 to 1987, 5 Nigerian universities were among the best 25 universities in the world.
True.
Today, we are not in the line of 1,700. So what went wrong? Our economy was a blossom economy from 1967 to 1982. So what went wrong? Our agricultural developmental template was one of the best among the world. Where are we today? We are hungry driven or hungry thriving nation. So you can count them. Our economy has collapsed totally. What went wrong?
How is this a reflection of some foreign influence?
So all these things are reflecting on foreign influence, and I can tell you why we are here. We don't have time to discuss it, but I can tell you for free why we are here today, and the only things we can do to bring ourselves to cognizance.
Okay.
But we are not ready yet.
Well, the thing is, I want to believe that if our government will be able to reach out to, say, a larger percentage of Nigerians on individual levels, we don't have to go through the formal institutions, right? And even if we want to go through there, let us extend hands to innovators in this country. Let us extend hands to tech-driven Nigerians. Let us extend hands to every other Nigerian out there, because I want to believe that they have some kind of solution, but somehow they are not being approached, and we are always geared towards following the archaic methods, the methods that we know, the old methods. I don't think there's so much innovation in the system that helps us address the challenges we face in the country.
It's not that there is not much innovations, but Nigerians don't encourage their own, and they don't motivate their own. So the moment you don't motivate and encourage people, they get into a circle of non-production, and that is where we are today. So you don't expect somebody to break evil and want the nation for him to present himself before the nation or the Committee of Nations. The issue here is different. When you say government, we are the government.
Okay.
Yeah, the leadership is, we don't have leadership. We don't have leadership is not as if we don't have people who are in leadership positions, but we don't have leadership because the government is not working. The government not working is the people not working.
So at the end of the day, it still boils down to the people.
So it's the people. When you say government, it's the people, not only the leaders.
But I've seen the people make attempts. I've seen the people, come out to cry. I've seen the people come out to say,
yes, because the leadership is faulty.
So how does it now? How do we blame the people in all of this?
It's because the people celebrate the faulty leadership.
Well, that has to be a set of people, because I have seen people come out to call out leaders in this country.
No, we don't have leaders. When you are calling out somebody, you should have a reason for calling out the person. I will call out Bola Ahmed Tinubu today for any reason. I will call out any governor or minister for any reason. I will call out any political appointee for any reason. Because one, they are not supposed to be there.
Okay.
They came in through a platform not identified by the people, but not identified by the government.
Well, I think it's theory at this point, if we see that, because whether we like it or not, they are there.
They are there, but if you are there on your personal cognizance.
So what do we do when they are there? What is the best approach to follow people that are already there?
It's for the people to say, we are done with you. Mm-hmm. If in 2027, nobody come out and vote,
it will be rigged again.
You can't ring it. Everybody was home.
Okay.
If everybody is at home and they did not vote, and nobody was captured, then you have yourself to explain why are you a leader.
Okay, that's another angle.
So we then it will be a time for everybody to come back to the drawing board and said, this is what we want moving forward. But whether you like it in Benin or there was anything in Benin, it was because the people too are being taken for granted. So there cannot be a governance without the people. So you can see Cote d'Ivoire swearing in somebody for the 4th time, meaning it is a life thing.
So we can see
I think here too, Obasanjo tried it to get a 3rd term. If he has succeeded then it will have also be a life thing.
Yes, yes.
So we are, somebody may be somewhere sitting down now in Nigeria here, also planning the same scheme for Nigeria. You can never tell.
Yes. So do we say it's an African, do we say that we as Africans or African countries gain their independence prematurely? Because we see this playing out in almost, and we see we're replicating a Western culture, but somehow we miss it out totally. So is it that we were not taught enough? Is it that we decided to withdraw too early?
No, apart from Ethiopia, that was not nationalized. No country in Africa had independence. What we had is a nation. The document we signed is for a nation, not independence. So we are not a sovereign nation. So when you are not a sovereign nation, they only gave you a placard to rule yourself. But ruling yourself has some art and laws underneath it that did not give you full authority. It's like a man who has a daughter and giving out the daughter to a man and said, you are marrying my daughter, I have a house for you, I am still supplying you the food, I am still doing everything. Any day my daughter is tired, she has a right to come back home. You want to pack your loads and start going. That is the system we are operating in Africa, and that is the system we are operating for us. So till the day we decide to choose our leaders, that is when you become a sovereign or independent nation.
In other words, it's not just by the name; it's actually by
if you go to UK today, they are already campaigning to contest for who become the next prime minister. All right?
Yes, sir.
Do they come to Nigeria to campaign?
Not at all.
But when the campaign starts here, we'll go to Cotterham.
We'll go and meet our benefactors.
So these are the problems. So you should know that you are not a sovereign nation.
Indeed. Unfortunately, our time is fast spent. We might just have to, draw the curtains at this point. But it is an ongoing conversation. I'm sure we'll have you back to help us, finish off this what we have started. Thank you so much, sir, for
thank you
for the show with us. We really appreciate your time.
Yeah.
And viewers, Global Morning wraps up in a bit. Please don't go anywhere.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Monday through Sunday to a wide range of latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
What is your problem? What's your problem? We're on the road to protest.
And the president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
All right, there we have it. It's been an interesting conversation from, the first conversation to this very one, talking about Nigeria's democracy. We had Prof telling us that we're not a sovereign nation yet. We still depend on our benefactors, and that is our colonizers. And that is same to other African countries. I don't know if you agree with that, though, but I think that's where he left the conversation today.
Well, a lot of people have different perceptions, but as it is, this is going to be the size of the conversation because we can't finish talking about all these things.
Absolutely.
Just in one sitting. But then, we would like all our viewers to know that the newspaper headlines are the editorial property of the various newspaper houses. Global Television have no contributions to it, and the view of all our guests is entirely theirs and not that of Global Television. Many thanks for joining us on Global Morning today. My name is Ramsey Enoch Agbo.
And my name is Priscilla Obasi, wishing you a beautiful day ahead.